I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Neon Knitter. So, welcome to week 1 of Vloguary for 2023, showing my progress throughout the 2022 Westknits Hiberknitalong. So, yeah, I know I'm calling it 2023 Vloguary, and it's called the 2022 Hiberknitalong, but that's because the knit-along starts in 2022, so that's why Stephen calls it the 2022 Hiberknitalong, but I'm calling it 2023 Vloguary because it takes place throughout January, and so it's not called Vlogcember, it's called Vloguary, so therefore 2023. So, anyways, today's the first day of the knit-along cast on. It's December 26th. And it is Monday. And the reason I call this week 1 is because every Monday you should see an episode come up until the shawl is finished. So this is gonna have Monday through Sunday, and then Monday morning you should see, well, maybe be more like Monday evening, you'll see the video posted. Probably more like Monday evening, because that's when I'll have time to edit it, but yeah. So I did quite a bit of knitting today for it being cast on day. Here's how far I got. I got through row 10 of section 3. Yeah, row 10 of section 3. So you can see all 5 colors are in here. It's kind of harder to see the dark brown, but it is there. Yeah, so if you want to know more about my yarns, go watch the Vloguary intro video. But, yeah, this is where I got on day 1 to section 3, row 10. So, row 10 of section 3. I am loving this so far. I think it looks really good. So, yeah. And then I'm wearing my shawlography, and in the description box of this video there should be a link to my Ravelry page, and I'm just going to tell you what I'm wearing, and I'm not going to tell you anything about what I'm wearing other than what I'm wearing, and then you can go look at my Ravelry project page if you are curious, because I kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I kind of went on and on last year every day about what I was wearing, and I think that was kind of me ranting on too much. So this year I'm just going to say, hey, here's what I'm wearing. Go check my Ravelry if you want to see it. So this is my shawlography. Go look on Ravelry if you want to learn more about it. Or you can go look at my 2021 MCAL series if you want to see me knitting this, because this is last year's Mr. Knit-Along. And here's the other thing. If you watched my Vloguary last year, you will know that the first week of Vloguary I was down at my grandparents' house in Wisconsin visiting them. So tomorrow, the 27th, is when we were initially supposed to leave to go visit them. Unfortunately, my grandma tested positive for COVID, so plans have changed, so we might not be seeing them till the end of January, if at all. So yeah, so I will be still here tomorrow instead of at my grandparents' house. So I'll see you here at home tomorrow. Okay. It is Tuesday, December 27th, it's day 2 of Vloguary, and here's my progress for today. I have finished row 24 of section 3, and here is what I have decided to do. If you watch Steven's video about the slip stitch section, which the video is just entitled Aurora Cabin Shawl. He doesn't show you how to do the slip stitch section, he just shows you how to carry your yarns up the side, because you are working with 5 yarns. It's several rows before you'll get back to using that same color again, and he has you carry the yarns up the side. And he says that if it gets to be a little too much, you can always break one of your yarns every now and again. Honestly, I didn't like the look of how that was turning out, so I just decided to break all my yarns, and I'm just going to weave them in later. So I just have 1,000 ends to weave in. So, yeah. So that's the story with the hundreds of ends hanging down from there, in case you were wondering. But yeah, row 24 of section 3 is what I got finished with. So, yeah. And then obviously, as you can see, I have finished my outer space sweater, and I will show that off on the next episode of my podcast. No, I don't know when it's going to come out, but at some point in January. Yeah, some point in January, episode 4 will come out, but I don't know when yet. I just went to Stephen B today, so there'll be acquisitions, so I'll talk all about that in my podcast. Also, I'm not normally going to be filming with this background. I couldn't film in my normal location today because my brother had the TV on really loud, so I had to come up here so it could be quiet. So yeah. So anyways, that is all for day 2 of Vloguary, and I will see you again tomorrow for day 3. Okay, it is Thursday, December 29th, and as you can obviously tell, I did not film yesterday. There has not been a lot of progress on my Aurora cabin shawl. I don't remember what I said I was on, what row I was on the other day on Tuesday, but I've only gotten through row 29 of section 3. Not a lot of progress. In fact, today I did not work on my Aurora cabin shawl at all. And most of yesterday I did not either. And here's why. And I'm not going to be able to work on my shawl for a little while yet. My knitting needles broke. So as a result, I have to order new needles. Yes, I ordered them yesterday. The delivery window is between January 2nd and January 11th, so that's a 10-day window of when they might arrive. So here's my shawl. It's very scrunched up because I have the needles tied together so that it doesn't fall off, but row 29 of section 3, only put a few rows on yesterday. So I have interchangeable needles. I have the Collage Square interchangeable needle set, which even though they broke, I still highly recommend their needles. They're awesome, amazing. Go get yourself a set, you won't regret it. And if you prefer round needles, they do make needles called Sonics, S-O-N-I-X, which, yeah, Collage Sonics, but I like their square needles, Collage Square. Anyways, I'm going to show this to you. Also, if you're wondering, I'm really upset about this because I did what was called the Needle of the Month Club. They did back in 2018. Collage has been under 3 different owners since they were founded. So Collage was originally invented, their needles were invented by Collage Yarns, hence the name Collage Square Needles. Then, I don't remember how many years ago, Collage Yarns went out of business and Louette bought out their needles, and then obviously all of Collage's yarns then went out of production because they were out of business. The owners retired. But then Louette started making their needles. Then in 2019, Louette decided they were going to focus solely on spinning supplies and discontinued all their yarns and all their needles. And so then, I don't remember the name of their current owners, but someone else bought out Collage needles and are now manufacturing them. And let me tell you, they have improved the product greatly from when Louette made them. But anyways, here is my needle tip. This is the one that didn't break. It's the other one that broke. I did the 2018 Needle of the Month Club. And so how it worked was you pay up front for the whole needle set. It's the interchangeable circular set, 12 different sizes. Each month you get a new set of needle tips. You get both the long and the short tips of that particular size. And then you have all the sizes. And then for the first few months you did get the different cords in the mail. I don't know how well you can see this. Sorry if I might have to cover my face up. Covering my face didn't do anything. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, that's not really doing anything, but anyways, it says Needle of the Month Club 2018 on them. These ones were the May ones, size 4. Here's the other thing. When you did the Needle of the Month Club, you got to pick some custom text to put on the other side of them. So I have my name on them. And so I'm really upset that my other tip broke. I am. Because I will never be able to replace my custom needle tips. Also, each needle size was a different color. That was special for the Needle of the Month Club. Otherwise, it's just like a pewtery silver color. Now, they're made out of anodized aluminum, but yeah, so this is a custom needle that I can't get another replacement of. Here's the other thing. These were manufactured in 2018 by Louette. Under their new ownership that took place in 2019, the new company is saying, oh, we will only honor your warranty, the lifetime warranty that you were promised, if you bought under our ownership. So needles that were manufactured 2018 and older, I'm so sorry, we will not honor your warranty. 2019 or newer is the warranty we will honor. So I had to pay full out for a brand new set of needle tips. And here's what I'm gonna say. Collage needles are not cheap. Each set of needle tips costs $18. And so a bunch of people were saying, that I should order 2 sets of tips to have on hand in case one breaks because they use size 4 all the time. They're $18 a set. So it'd be nice to have that warranty as a thing. But you know what? It is what it is. And my new tips that come won't be my custom Needle of the Month Club ones. They won't have my name on them. They're not going to say 2018. They're not going to say the month. They're just going to say Collage Square, US 4, 3.5 millimeter. That's all they're going to say. So again, here's the regular one that didn't break. And here's the one that broke. And here's the part that's sheared right off. It's sheared right off. But you know what? These needle tips lasted me 4.5 years. So that's pretty good, I suppose. 4.5 years. But it broke right off. So until my new needles come, I can't work on my Aurora cabin shawl. So what had happened was I decided randomly that I wanted to put a few rows on clue 3 of twists and turns. And so I have a special tool that I use to disconnect these needles from the cord because twists and turns also uses size 4 needles. And so I disconnected the needle tips from my Aurora cabin shawl and put them on my twists and turns. Did a few rows on that, then realized, no, I should be working on my Aurora cabin shawl so I have content to show you guys. So in the process of disconnecting my needle tips from my twists and turns and putting them back onto my Aurora cabin shawl, I disconnected my tip and I noticed the bottom part was bent. And my tools don't usually make my needles get all bent up like that, but I noticed it was bent and I'm like, ooh, something is not right here. So I gently tried to push it back into shape because I'm like, something's not right here, and it snapped. So something went wrong with my needles. It got bent and it broke. I didn't try to bend it. I was gentle with them like I normally am. Treated them how I always do, but it broke right off. So that's why I didn't film yesterday, because I was in a mood. I was very upset about it, and I would have been ranting even more on about it than I am right now. So yeah, so that's why I have not been working on Aurora cabin shawl. So for the next however many days it takes for my needle tips to arrive, I'll be showing you progress on a different project that I started as a sort of content filler, I guess, because otherwise I'm gonna have zero content for you guys. Now, I could have just picked up one of my whips, like my bubble sweater or my bubble shawl or my bubbles and brioche shawl, or I have tons of whips. The whips that I show on my podcast episodes are just the ones I'm actually working on, because my episodes would be a couple hours long if I showed you all my whips, because I have over 30 whips. And you might know that if you've browsed my projects on Ravelry, and if not, I have over 30 whips. So I don't show all of them, I just show what I'm actually working on at the moment. And so out of frustration of my needles breaking, I obsessively cast on a new shawl. And part of me feels kind of guilty that I cast on yet another project when I have so many other things I'm working on. But part of me was craving a new cast on in the moment of frustration over my needles breaking. So this is what I'm going to be showing you guys progress on for the next week to week and a half before my new needle tips arrive and I can continue my Aurora cabin shawl. So I have cast on Exploration Station. Yeah, so this has been something I've been wanting to knit for a very long time. I've had the yarns for it for a while now. So yeah, I just obsessively cast it on, even though I should have just picked up an old whip and tried to finish that instead. So I should have just probably worked on my bubble sweater. It's really what I probably should have done, but I cast on Exploration Station instead. I was gonna cast on my Doodler obsessively, and then I realized it also uses size 4 needles. So that didn't work out. So yeah, obsessively cast on Exploration Station. Excuse me. So the yarns I'm using for it, which I will go over quick because you're probably wondering, I am using Opal sock yarn. They make 4 different neons, and those are the ones I'm using. But yeah, it's the Opal sock yarn. My color A is the pink, which is color number 2010. Neon pink. Yeah. Then color B is orange, which is 2013. Then color C is green, which is 2011. And then D is yellow, which is 2012. And it is, let me see here. When I'm not currently working with one of the colors, I do put the label back on it, but I'm at a part where it told me to keep color A attached and work with color B. So, yeah. So I have both attached at the moment. 75% virgin wool, 25% polyamide, which I believe is another way of saying nylon. I want to say polyamide is the same thing as nylon. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah. So, and it's got, let me see here what the yardage is per skein. Let me see if I can find it. I know it says somewhere's on here. It should say. Oh. I don't know what the yardage is, guys, because I can't find it. Oh, here it is. It's literally in the biggest font possible. 100 grams, 425 meters. Whatever that is in yards is, I don't know, because I go off yards and not meters. But I only need one skein of each color. And so I am on section 1. I am on wedge number 4, not finished with wedge 4 yet. And the stitch marker is marking my most recent turn because I'm doing short rows. So yeah, the technique reminds me a little bit of dotted rays, but yet different, because dotted rays, all the wedges are just piled on top of each other. Whereas here they're kind of staggered, like one's going this way, then it goes back this way, you know? Whereas dotted rays is just, right? So, but it reminds me a little of dotted rays. But then we'll move into the other sections once I get this section done. So, yeah. But yeah, it's Exploration Station, so that was the 2014 Mystery Knit Along, which here it is. Yeah, I have his book. I have every single Stephen West book that he's ever published. All the Westknits books, all the Westknits Best Knits books. I have painting shawls, and I have all the Hiberkniting books, including Hiberkniting number 3. So, yeah, but this is the Exploration Station. And here it is in another color palette. So that's what I'm currently knitting. But I'm doing mine in neons. So yeah. So that's what I'm working on in the meantime to let my frustration out about my needles breaking. Yeah, so I'm sorry if I've been ranting on for about 20 minutes already about the last couple days of lack of working on my Aurora cabin shawl. Oh, one last thing before I go that I forgot to show. This is the shirt that will be going with my Exploration Station. So this is the shirt, goes with my neons. Yeah. So, yeah, so thank you for listening to my rant about my needles. I needed to let that all out. So I will see you guys tomorrow on Friday, December 30th for more progress on Exploration Station, because my needle tips aren't even scheduled to ship until tomorrow. So yeah, so there'll be Exploration Station progress until my needles arrive. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for more Exploration Station progress, I guess. apparently. Alright, I'm back upstairs because we have the TV on downstairs. And it's too loud for me to film. So, it is the 30th, Saturday the 30th of December. Happy New Year's Eve. Yep, it's New Year's Eve. And so, I am filming this kind of late in the day. It's already like going on 8 o'clock. I have not knit a single stitch all day. And so my only requirement for filming today was that I filmed before showing you yesterday's progress before I put any stitches on today. So doing that now because I'm about to go downstairs with my family and watch the ball drop in New York. And we're going to watch the music beforehand, and I'm pretty excited because Duran Duran is performing. Yeah, so anyways, so, and I live in St. Paul, Minnesota, so the ball drops in New York at 11 p.m. here, but then we get to, of course, watch the Fleur-de-Lis drop in New Orleans at midnight, so, yeah. Anyways, the reason I have not knit a single stitch all day is because I have actually been running around town modeling knitwear for my Ravelry project pages. So, before I show you that, I will show you yesterday's progress. Alright, here is yesterday's progress on my exploration station, because my needles haven't arrived yet for my Aurora cabin, so. Alright, here. So, this is, I finished wedge 5 of section 1 of exploration station. I only have one wedge left, and it's a yellow one. So next time you see this, it'll only be a couple of hours because I'm going to still film tonight showing today's progress. And then, which I'll come back probably after midnight because, yeah. And then I will, then film tomorrow's progress as well. So, and then I'll get this video up on Monday. So, yeah, so that's all I did yesterday was get all the way through wedge 6. Or wedge 5. Sorry, wedge 5. Got through wedge 5. So yeah, I got to model 6 pieces of knitwear today. My neighbor kindly went around town with me. And, yeah, my neighbor kindly went around town with me to be my photographer, my quote-unquote photographer. And so yeah, I got to model 6 pieces of knitwear, and I will insert the pictures on the screen in the order that they were modeled, but the first one I got to model was my oh, I'm blanking on the name of the pattern right now. Oh, my Daughter Ray's Speckle Fade. That was the first one I got to model. Then after that, the second one I got to model was my Drangy sweater. Then I went and modeled my Claude shawl. Then I went and modeled my Pritchard sweater. Then after I modeled my Pritchard sweater, I went and modeled my Zealandia shawl. And then finally I modeled my Daughter Ray's self-striping, which is what I'm wearing. Reason I'm wearing it is because it was the most recent photo shoot I did, and so I just decided that I was just gonna wear this for the rest of the day because there's no point in changing my outfit into anything different, so. Especially because I knew I was gonna film and I wanted to wear some knitwear while I was filming, so in a couple hours from now, I'll probably be wearing the same thing. So, but this was the final one that I modeled. So it was kind of an interesting, excuse me, an interesting way that I made it happen. So a lot of the backgrounds I modeled stuff in front of was within a couple miles of my house in my neighborhood. However, two of the photo shoots were completely across town from my house. Two of them, my cloud shawl and my drangey sweater, were modeled all the way across town because I already knew where I wanted to model them, and yeah. So, but the proximity of those two locations, both of those locations were relatively close to each other. So here's the issue. I started with all the photo shoots that involved my tan pants. Then I switched to the photo shoots that involved my black pants. And then the final one I did involved my blue pants. So, not that you can really see my pants in the photo shoot, but I figured in case you are in the photos, but I figured in case you could see a little tiny bit of it, that I figured it mattered what color pants I was wearing. So, yeah, anyways, so the tricky part was I couldn't just go home and change my pants, right? I mean, I could, but it'd be really annoying because I'd pretty much be going to model my drangey sweater, going home, and then pretty much going back to where I came from. So what I did was, because my cloud shawl was modeled, both of the intersections that the locations were that I modeled crossed the same road. So yeah, and so I had to change my pants actually in the bathroom of a grocery store. Thankfully, the person I was with needed to actually go shopping for a few groceries, so worked out. But yeah, I had to change my pants in a grocery store bathroom. And then I went and modeled my cloud shawl, and then the rest of the photo shoots I was just able to change my shirt in the car. It was fine. And then the location in which I modeled my Dotteray self-striping was actually less than a block from my house, so I just changed my pants at my house. So yeah, and the other thing is I specifically did this one last because out of all 6 of those photo shoots, this was the only one that was indoors. The rest were all outdoors. And so I figured I could do it later into the evening if I needed to, because I could be losing daylight and it wouldn't matter, because obviously if it's indoors, the lights are turned on, so I could model this at 10 p.m. with it pitch dark outside and it wouldn't matter. So yeah, so I will insert the pictures of those photo shoots I did in chronological order of when I modeled them right now. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much what I did today. And so that's why I haven't done any more knitting since yesterday. But that was yesterday's progress that I hadn't gotten to show you yet. So yeah. So I will be back in a few hours. Right before I go to bed, I will film, but I'm going to be up because it's New Year's Eve. So watch the ball drop in New York, watch the fleur-de-lis drop in New Orleans. Then I will come back and share the very first thing I put stitches on in 2023. Okay, I will share that with you and the progress I've made. And yeah, so I will be back next year. So see you next year. Okay, so it is January 1st, 2023. Happy New Year. Excuse me. It is actually not a couple hours later because, funny enough, at midnight I was starting to get kind of tired, and so I went to bed and didn't film my progress, but I haven't made any progress yet this morning. So I haven't knit a single stitch in 2023. So I will just show you the final bit of knitting I did in 2022 because that's where I left off. Now, I didn't do very much knitting because I have this problem where even though a lot of things should be TV knitting, I have kind of an issue, and it kind of bothers me, where when I have the TV on and I'm watching something, my hands kind of freeze and like stop knitting because I'm so engrossed in what I'm watching. Yeah, so engrossed in what I'm watching that my hands stop moving. So I only knit 3 rows. That's not a lot. Funny enough though, when I'm sitting and watching knitting podcasts, I get quite a bit of knitting done. But then again, I'm not constantly staring at the screen because I only look up when they're holding up their knitwear and when they're talking about like their process of knitting it or what went wrong and what they did correctly, and they're not holding it up and they're just describing stuff. I don't really have to look at the screen, so I think that might have something to do with it. I don't know, but anyways, this is all the progress I made. I did the 2 pink rows and then the first row of wedge 6. Just the first row. Yep. So that's all I did. So that's not a lot at all. So yeah. Yeah, so anyways, I know I'm still wearing the same thing that I wore yesterday, but I just threw this on quick before I take a shower to go to my grandma's house, but I didn't want to film with wet hair, so I opted to just throw on what I was wearing yesterday. And then, yeah, so I will go figure out what I'm going to wear, and then I'm going to get dressed because we visit my grandma on New Year's. So we're going to go to my grandma's. Hopefully I'll get a bunch of knitting done. And then I will be back tonight for the final part of week 1 of Vloguary. Okay? So I'll see you tonight. Okay, so it is Monday, January 2nd. And I told you guys I would film last night and show you my progress for yesterday. Obviously, I did not. When I got back from my grandma's house, I was exhausted and I went to bed. So I didn't make that much progress yesterday. And so I got up this morning and completely forgot that I didn't film. And so I started knitting. So It's about noon, lunchtime. So when I'm done filming, I'm gonna go eat lunch. But this is my progress for yesterday and this morning. So most of this progress is actually today and not yesterday. But anyways, yeah. So my New Year's Day progress, January 1st, and then the morning of January 2nd. And I'm still on wedge 6, as you can see, of Exploration Station. I don't know how much more you'll be seeing my Exploration Station in Vloguary, because my needle replacements are scheduled to arrive tomorrow. So I can go back to my Aurora cabin shawl, which is what this series is supposed to be about. So, yay. So, tomorrow I should be getting that. Hopefully, according to USPS. And then I can finally go back to my Hiberknitalong like I'm supposed to be doing. But until then, this is what I've done on Exploration Station. I'm wearing my eyeball shawl, which, again, you can go to my Ravelry project page if you want to know more about the yarns, or I believe it was episode 1 of my podcast that I talked about it in. Anyways, yeah, it's my eyeball shawl. So, yeah. Anyways, so, yeah, since it's been a whole week, that concludes week 1 of Vloguary. So I'm Andrew. Thank you for checking in here at the Neon Knitter, and I will see you in week 2 of Vloguary.